All right, good evening, guys. Tonight we're going to talk about factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. It's this a that we're going to focus in on today because all the other times a was 1, and since we're no longer going to look at scenarios where it's just 1, it does change our methods slightly. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, title this Factored Form from standard form. Your essential question is, when you factor a trinomial, what type of polynomial will you have? Remember, you're not naming the polynomial Bob. There's a mathematical name for him, and you're trying to tell me what those are. All right, let's already get started with number 1. I will tell you from experience, do you see how big all of these numbers are for number 1? You are going to want to factor out the greatest common factor between these 3 numbers. And the greatest common factor in number 1 is 8. So we are going to go through and we're going to factor out 8 before I show you what happens for problem number 2. When you have big problems like this, factor out what you can. So if we divide everything by 8, that's the greatest common factor, remember, everything by 8, we will have 8 outside times x squared minus 56 divided by 8 is 7x plus 48 divided by 8 is 6. Great. Now we're ready to go through and do what we talked about before, since A, right here is A, right here is B, right here is C, right here A is 1. We can talk about our diamond method now. So what plus what is -7, and what times what is 6. So the only two things that I can think of that is multiplies to 6 and adds to 7 is 6 and 1, and they both have to be negative in order for that 7 to be negative and that 6 to be positive. So our factored polynomial, one when it's given you a trinomial is kind of big, is our greatest common factor 8 times x minus 6 times x minus 1. All right, scenario number 2. All of these ones are already in prime numbers, so we can't, there is no greatest common factor. A is 2, B is 11, and C is 5. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit how it changes our problem. So in our box, here's what we have going on. We have 2x squared, we have 5. And then between these two boxes, we're trying to get 11. We cannot just go through and make our regular diamond method. We have to now consider this a, because this 2 is going to affect our multiplication in one of these two boxes here. So here's what we do. We're still thinking what adds up to 11, but now we're going to consider what multiplies to a times c, which is 10. That's the only thing that changes. Before, I didn't talk about an a in our previous video a couple nights ago because a was 1, and 1 times anything is anything, so I didn't talk about it because we didn't need to worry about it. But now we do. And a, which is 2, 2 times 5 is 10. So what two numbers add up to 11 and multiply to 10? The only thing I can think of is a 10 and a 1. Are you following me? Okay, so what we put in our box now is a 10x and an x. Okay, let's see here. What do we have going on? We're going to have a 2x. Now you're going to have to use your puzzle skills. We're going to have a 2x and an x. That's how we get 2x squared. We're going to have a 2x, and we're going to have a 5, because that's how we get 10x. Okay, we're going to have an x and a 1, and a 1 times a 5 is a 5, and we made it work. All right, you just have to do some puzzles now. So 2x plus 1 and 2x plus 5 is our factored form when we have an a and we cannot factor out a big number. Factor out the greatest common factor. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, they're all prime numbers, so we can't factor anything out. So let's go ahead and start setting up our box method. Inside our box, here's what we have going on. We have 2x squared, 5. We're trying to figure out what's going to go into those two other boxes here and here. And we're going to do that by what plus what is negative 7 plus what is negative 7. And multiplied is a times c. 2 times 5 is 10. Again, what plus what is negative 7 and multiplies to 10? The only two numbers that I'm thinking are 5 and 2. So 5 and 2, one of these has to be negative, or both of them, because we're adding to negative 7, and it is both of them. In our box, we have negative 5x, and we have negative 2x. Okay, let's go ahead and do, here's your puzzle part. We're trying to figure out what pieces go on the outside. We have x times x, and that's how we get x squared. One of these has to be 2. Let's figure out which one's 2. I'm going to say this top one is 2 because both of these have a 2 in common, the 2x squared and the 2x. Okay? This one must say minus 5. This one must say negative 1, and we did it. Everything checks out. 2x squared times x is 2x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. And negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. So the answer to number 3 is x minus 1 and 2x minus 5. All right, number 4. Let's figure out a new color. All right, can we factor anything out? 3, 14, and 8. Nope. No factoring. So let's go ahead and see what's going on in our box. 3x squared, 8. Let's see what's going on in our diamond. What adds up to negative 14 and multiplies to 3 times 8, 24. Negative 14, 24. The only thing I'm thinking right now is 12 and a 2. So let's see. They would both have to be negative to add up to negative 14 and multiply to a positive number. Okay, let's go ahead and fill that in. Negative 12x, negative 2x. All right, here's our puzzle part. X times x is the only way that we get x squared. One of these has to say 3. One of the x's has to say 3. I'm choosing this one. Why am I picking this one? Because the one right here has a negative 12x. So what times 3 is negative 12? 3 times 4, negative 4, is 12. Good. And then I'm saying that this one right here has to be negative 2 because negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. And we did it. So the answer, the factored form, is 3x minus 2 times x minus 4. All right, let's go ahead and move on to some more examples before I have to cut it short in a minute. And these examples are going to be on your own. So go ahead and try these two. When you're ready to go over your answers, go ahead and press play, and I'll be here waiting. All right, problem number 5. You should have seen inside your box, here's what you have going on. You have 6x squared. You have negative 12. You should have set up your diamond to say what plus what is 1 and 6 times negative 12. And what times what is negative 72. Negative 72. Interesting. What times what is negative 72 and what plus what is 1? I do know an 8 and a 9 multiply out to be a 72. And they're really darn close to each other, so they're going to have to add up to a 1. Maybe if one of these is negative. Yes, if 8 is negative, it will add up to 1 and multiply to a negative. Okay, so this is what we have going on, 8x, negative 8x, sorry, and 9x. All right, now it's your puzzle time, and you are going to have x, x. You're going to have, this one should definitely say 3. This one should say 2. All right, this one better say 4, and it should be negative. And then this one should better say 3, and we did it. 3x minus 4 and 2x plus 3. This right here, this part just takes time and takes guessing, so don't stress out yet. Problem number 6, can't factor anything out, so what do you have going on in your diamond and in your box? You have 4x squared, you have negative 5, and then you're thinking, what plus what is negative 19, and what times what is negative 20? The only two things that I can think of that will get us what we're looking for here is either a 20 and a 1. A 20 and a 1. So which one is going to be negative? 20 definitely has to be negative for this one. So we have negative 20x, and we have 1x. So we have x times x. This one must be a 4 because that's how we're going to get negative 20. And this one must be a 1 because that's how we're going to get a negative 5. And again, this just takes time guessing and learning the process. If you took a few minutes to figure out, that's okay. All right, go ahead and answer your essential question. And I hope you guys have a good night. Make sure you do that checkpoint. See you tomorrow.